So, good evening everyone. I am going to show you a demo, a working demo of the Oracle Auto Upgrade utility, and those who have followed part 1, they are already aware that what an auto upgrade utility is, what it could do, and this is going to be a live demo of it. I call this particular demo as a upgrade war zone, and this is part 2, where you will see the actual auto upgrade utility doing all the heavy lifting. So, you must have seen this poster earlier as the concluding poster of my part 1. So, I will pick it up from there. Before I go any further, let us understand what is that I am going to show you in this part. I am going to show you the auto upgrade utility demonstration. In this particular demonstration, I am going to upgrade 5 independent databases to different versions. As an example, I have a 112040 database, which is a non-CDB architecture. Name of that database is NCDB112A. Some of the features of that database are: it uses a character set W8MS Win 1252, which was back then the default database character set. It has certain objects in recycle bin. Those who know the Oracle database upgrade process, they know that prior to the start of upgrade, you are supposed to empty the recycle bin. And in this particular database, I do not have Oracle database vault or Oracle label security components installed. I am going to upgrade this to a multi-tenant container database 19.9, a CDB. 19.9 simply means that I have already applied to this particular software and the container database the October 2020 PSU, or release update as we call it these days. There is a container database which has a name CDB all, and it has already been configured in a certain way. So, like every CDB, it also has a root $CDB $root, which is the root container, and it has got a PDB $seed, which is a seed template for creating pluggable databases. Apart from this, it also has one more database into it called as PDB 19C. Now, the database that I am going to upgrade will be an 112040 database non-CDB, which at the end of this upgrade demonstration would become one of the pluggable databases with a new name PDB112A. The green color ones are the pre-existing ones, and this is the outcome of an upgrade. There is another database called as NCDB112, which is a 121020 non-container database again. It uses again the similar character set W8MS Win 1252, and it has an older version of a Apex schema installed in it. Although this is 12C release 1, but architecture wise it is a non-CDB. At the end of an auto upgrade demonstration, this would become another pluggable database PDB 121 in my container database. There's another non-container database NCDB 12.2, which is a 122010 non-container database. At the end of this upgrade demonstration, I am upgrading that as well to 19C, and it would become an additional pluggable database with the name PDB 122. There is one more database called as NCDB 18C, which is an 18C version of a non-CDB database. Nothing special about it. It would also be upgraded to 19C version as another pluggable databases. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 which are all different versions 11G, 12.1, 12.2, 18C non-CDB databases, they would all be upgraded to 19C at the end of it, and they would all become pluggable databases as part of the post upgrade activities. Now there's another database, the fifth one, which is NCDB 112B. It is an 11.2040 database, again in a non-containerized format, same as that what we have seen here, but the intention is to upgrade it to 12.2, not to 19C, and also to retain the architecture which is non-CDB architecture. So I am not going to convert it to pluggable DB, I am not going to upgrade it to 19C, it would eventually become a non-container database with the same name NCDB 112B, and I am upgrading it to 12.2, and all of it, the heavy lifting of all these 5 databases as part of pre-upgrade, or for that matter analyzing them, finding out the problems with them, going through pre-upgrade fixes, doing the actual upgrade, converting them to as pluggable databases, running post-upgrade activities, all of it would be done using a single auto upgrade command, which would depend largely on the input that I provide, and that input file is called as a config file, which would have 5 different sections, one section for each of those databases apart from the global section. So this auto upgrade utility will take the config file as an input and would deliver me the picture from left transformed to the picture on the right. Just to note a couple of things, the 19C database that I have with the name CDB all is a multi-container database which is a CDB architecture, and the character set that I am using is AL32 UTF-8. The reason for selecting the default and the recommended one which is AL32 UTF-8 as a character set is, if the container database uses this character set, then your pluggable database can have any different character set of their own, although that is not my intention. But to show you that yes, the pluggable databases indeed can have their own different character sets, provided the CDB uses a superset of all the character sets, which is AL32 UTF-8. Now, how am I going to run this demonstration? Well, I am going to run it just to understand it in a better way. I am going to run it 2 times. In the first attempt, let us call it in a noob mode. A noob is a person who is new. In a computer gaming world, we call a noob as somebody who is new, who is not experienced, who is not professional. So I am going to run this auto upgrade demonstration first time in a noob mode, assuming I am very new to it. I do not know how to make auto upgrade or fullest utilization of all the features in auto upgrade. Things will fail, I would learn while I demonstrate, so on and so forth. The reason for running this is, it's because we want to understand the auto upgrade utility by understanding how it runs through, how it fails, how it shows errors, so on and so forth. So in the first attempt, I am going to run the auto upgrade utility in analyze mode to see what is okay and what requires a fix. So it is going to look into all my 5 databases and the container database, and it will see is everything properly set up, so on and so forth. I know I have not done a good job because I am a new user. So eventually the auto upgrade, when I run it in analyze mode, it is going to complain about few things that are missing in my environment, and I kept them deliberately deficient. So our CDB is fully not ready because I have not installed Oracle Database Vault and Oracle Label Security DBA registry components into my container database, and that was done deliberately so that I want the auto upgrade utility to complain about those deficiencies. So let it complain, and then I would, because I am noob user, I would understand only when it complains, and then I am going to go through and fix all of those problems. Another deliberate component that I have chosen is in my 12.1 database, 12c release 1, I have installed Apex components. So the Apex components are of older version, 4.2.6 version, and nowadays Apex, starting from 18c and onwards, Apex is not upgraded as part of DB upgrades, because understandably so, Apex itself used to take around 45 to 50 minutes of the upgrade minutes, which is a precious downtime during the actual process. And now imagine you are somebody who do not use the Apex component, then why to have it in the database in the first place? It simply adds the more downtime during the upgrade. But analyze will give me flag of, oh, this component, this particular component Apex, it must be upgraded before the DB upgrade begins, and I would still ignore that because I am noob, I do not know, and I am too casual. We'll fix a few items and let the other items cause us some headache during auto upgrade. One of them is going to cause us headache is Apex. Another is missing DBA registry components for my container database CDB all. But I will learn over the period how to fix it, and then disregarding certain errors, I will fix few, I will lose few, and the one that I will leave as unfixed one is an Apex one. So disregarding that, I am assuming I didn't pay much attention to it, I am directly going to run. So there are certain errors which I didn't fix prior to the start of the auto upgrade. I am going to run the auto upgrade utility in deploy mode, which will do the actual heavy lifting of upgrading those databases from the current version to the targeted versions as indicated in my config file. And since there were errors which I didn't fix at one juncture, the auto upgrade is going to fail for my 12.1 database. And then I would go through the logs only to understand that, oh, there are a couple of things that I need to manually go and fix now before I could resume the failed auto upgrade job for that specific database, 12.1 database. Once that is fixed, I resume it, it would be happy to pick up that particular failed upgrade and it will take it through the completion. Once all the databases are upgraded, then comes the manual implementation of post upgrade tasks, certain fixes, certain alignments, and I am going to do that all manually. Some of those broad categories are, there would be, because there are 4 databases, 11G release 2, 12.1, 12.2 and 18C, which I am going to upgrade to 19C version, and I am going to make them as pluggable databases. So at the time of plugging them into 19C, which I am not going to do, it will be automatically done by auto upgrade. Obviously there would be certain PDB plugin violations. Those violations could be because of a difference in character set and many other. Typically those violations are related to parameters which do not match between the PDB and the CDB. They could be because of warnings related to character set mismatch, so on and so forth. And all my databases currently run on a standalone machine which has got Oracle Grid infrastructure installed. All of them use ASM disk group as the storage for my database. So they are already registered in my Oracle local registry. At the end of it, remember, all those standalone databases would become pluggable databases. So I will have to go and implement certain fixes for SRVCTL. And the 5th database that I am upgrading is going to change from 11G to 12.2 non-CDB to non-CDB. So apparently you will have to go and fix the OLR, saying okay, it is no longer running from 11G home, it will run from 12.2. So certain fixes that I need to do so that my SRVCTL starts working at the end of upgrade, I am going to do all that manually so that we all understand what are those typical things that one has to do. That's because I am running it in a noob mode. I do not know much about, I am new to this. In my second attempt, I am going to run auto upgrade utility. I will reset my environment back to what it was prior to the start of this demo. That's because I am running it in a virtual machine and I have taken a snap of it to restore it to its previous state. All that I need to do is to restore the previous snap. So everything would come back to as is at the beginning of the demonstration, whatever things were. And I am going to run it in my second attempt in a pro mode. And in the pro mode, now I am seasoned user of auto upgrade utility. I want you to see the power of how one could customize the pre and post upgrade scripts by deploying shell scripts, which would deliver you a clean upgraded environment, and that too without any manual intervention. So stay awake because it's going to be a long running demo. Couple of things those who do upgrade must already be aware of, that back in 11g release 2, both the Oracle label security and database vault component, if they are required, if they were required in 11g, the only way of getting them was to relink the Oracle binaries. And how to relink that? That's shown here. Although I am not using Oracle label security or data vault in both my 11g release 2 databases. Now in Oracle database 11.204, Apex components that gets installed were of the version 3.2.1, and starting from 12c release 1, the Apex schema that comes pre-bundled with your database, especially if you have built a database using DBCA, using one of the templates such as general purpose database template, then the Apex schema would be of the version 4.2.6. Now from Oracle 12c release 2 and onwards, Oracle do not provide you Apex as a default component, as a default product installed in your database. If you wish to have Apex, you must download the Apex software separately from the OTN and get it installed. The current version of Apex is 20c. It is always recommended to install Apex inside PDB, and one should not try to install it under root container. There have been a couple of approach changes made by Oracle. In 12c release 1, they recommended Apex to be installed in the root container and not inside the user container pluggable databases, but now there's a change of heart and a change of direction. Oracle says Apex should now be installed in pluggable databases and not per se in root container. Moreover, starting with 18c, the Apex upgrades do not happen automatically as part of DB upgrade, and I told you the reason. Oracle noticed that when you do an Apex schema upgrade as part of the DB upgrade, the Apex schema upgrade itself takes 45 to 50 minutes depending upon how heavily it was being used, and it unnecessarily adds a precious downtime during the DB upgrade. And now imagine you are somebody who has created a templated database using DBCA. Without your knowledge, without you using it, you are not a serious user of Apex, but the Apex schema is there and it used to take a long time for the upgrades to happen. So Oracle do not distribute 12.2 onwards any Apex schema. Moreover, it's not part of any DB upgrades going forward. So you cannot take an older Apex schema version to the new database. So if you are a serious user of Apex, you really have Apex components deployed and are being used, then in that case, prior to the DB upgrade, you should upgrade the version of your Apex schema to the latest and greatest, which I believe is 20c nowadays. And if you are not using Apex but the schema is there, in that case you should remove that schema prior to the start of upgrade. And although auto upgrade will flag me a warning saying you have an Apex schema, you must take care of it before the upgrade, I am going to ignore this and let the auto upgrade fail for one of my databases, and then I will jump into and fix it manually. So remember, if you are not using Apex, it's better to remove it, and if you are a serious user of Apex, then upgrade it before the start of the actual DB upgrade. Starting from 12c release 2, a pluggable database can use a different character set than that of your CDB. provided the character set used by your CDB is AL32 UTF-8. Remember these points in mind, and also remember this picture in mind. So we are going to upgrade 5 databases, 4 of them will become pluggable databases in 19C, and one 11G release 2 database non-container will be upgraded to 12.2, again a non-container version. So have this picture in mind forever throughout the demonstration. This is my actual auto upgrade config file that I am going to supply to the auto upgrade utility as part of my single command invocation in deploy mode, and it has got 5 sections, one section for each database. So this particular section is for my NCDB 112A 11G release 2 database, which would eventually be upgraded as PDB 112A under 19C container database. And then there are parameters related to that. What's the DB name? When do you want me to start the actual auto upgrade process? Now indicates that immediately. What's the source Oracle home from where the database runs? It runs from 11G database. What's the instance name? And then what is the name of the host on which I am going to run this upgrade? What is the targeted version? It's going to be 19C. What's the Oracle base directory like? What is the name of the container database? And if you are upgrading this to a pluggable database, and if you want to change the name of it after the upgrade, what would be the name for the target PDB? So I said, although this database is currently NCDB112A, eventually after upgrade I would like to rename it by saying PDB112A. And this doesn't apply. Local undo, it's only when you do a older version CDB upgrade to a newer version CDB, only then it comes a question of how would you like to handle undo management. Would it be a common undo inside CDB $root for database, or is it that every pluggable database should have its local undo management and its own table space? At the end of the upgrade, the compilation of invalid objects should be done. So utlrp is compiling all the invalid objects, and post upgrade task of upgrading the time zones. Oracle with every new release delivers the latest and the greatest version of the time zone files, and they must be upgraded as part of the post DB upgrade steps. Pretty much similar things are there in each of these sections. So 11G is going to become 19C pluggable database, 12C release 1 database is going to become another pluggable database, 12.2 database will again become another pluggable database, 18C non-container database would become another pluggable database, and then the odd man out. There's another 11G release 2 database which I am not upgrading to 19C, I am going to upgrade it to 12.2. The source and the pre and the post upgrade architecture would remain same, meaning both would be non-CDB architectures. Then there's a global section here. The global section talks about parameters which applies to all the local sections unless they are overridden. So in my global section I have mentioned the global log directory and the target Oracle home, which is 19C, and then there are a couple of comments which I will come back a little later on it. So I said this is the only DB upgrade where the target Oracle home is different. In every other case I didn't mention that, which means it will pick up the value from the global section. But only for one of the databases I said the target Oracle home is going to be 12C release 2. And the targeted version is not 19C, in this case it's 12.2. Everywhere else those values are especially the target Oracle home is not mentioned. So when in a local section the target Oracle home is not mentioned, it is going to pick it up from the global section. Moreover, somebody might have figured out that I didn't mention for each of those database time zone upgrade. It simply means that if you do not mention a value for time zone underscore UPG, default is yes. So I was running out of space on this side. So in some cases I mentioned it, yes, upgrade the time zone. but you do not see it mentioned here. Remember, when you do not mention, the default value is yes. So I need not mention it explicitly. Because I was running out of screen space, I deliberately omitted those parameters, because I know even if I omit it, it's going to do the time zone upgrade as part of the post DB upgrade steps. In my first attempt, I am going to run it in a noob mode. I am new to it. So all those pre and post upgrade problems I am going to fix one after the other manually. But when I show the same demo in a pro mode, which is my second attempt, I am going to uncomment these sections. One of them is before action, prior to the start of the auto upgrade utility. What are those proactive fixes that you would like to deploy? And I have already written a custom shell script to go and fix all those items that auto upgrade is going to complain about in all those databases. And then a similar action which is post upgrade called as an after action. Again, it is commented. I am going to show you how to manually fix each of those post upgrade issues. But in the second attempt, I am not going to run through all those issues manually. I have a pre-drafted Unix shell script which would go and take care of all the pluggable database plugin time violations, SRVCTL fixes, everything that is required. I have already automated it. And this is the actual config file that I am going to use for our auto upgrade demonstration. And that's the end of what I wanted to present.